joining me. We've still got a few people joining, so we're just going to get started now. And those of you who joined late or missed the beginning or missed part of it later, don't worry. We always have a replay available. So after this webinar, I always send out the replays. We have a Facebook group, and I've included the details for the Facebook group in the public chat. So if you haven't joined the Facebook group yet, request to join now, and then when I get the opportunity to add you after the webinar, I'll include you. All the replays are there, but we also put them on YouTube as well. I find the YouTube videos, sometimes they're easier to access than the Facebook videos. So today, what we're going to talk about is how we make the rest of 22 your year for success. Now, I have many conversations with artists every week, and a lot of them the same theme comes up, and I want to really just try and drill down on that a little bit and get into that. So thank you for joining me. Hey Nancy, hey Matt, hey Carol, Austin, Texas, Linda in Chicago, and Mark. Hey Mark, thanks for joining again, mate. I really appreciate it. Okay, so how do we make the year a success? And I think when it comes to many of these things, it is mindset plays a big part of it, but it's not the only thing. Hey, Hammer. Okay, so here we go. So these are the things I want to talk about today. So number one is focusing on the things that really make a difference. And I think that is probably one of the biggest issues that artists face today. There are so many distractions and so many ways to get your eye off the ball on what really matters. And I want to tell you the things that we focus on and how we continue to get the results we get by just focusing on a few things. Okay. Number two, setting realistic goals. I think you must have goals, full stop. But B, they need to be realistic for you. Okay, and that is also really, really important, because often I find people set goals, but they're unrealistic for where they are in their business right now today. Okay, the game plan that we use in our six-figure online art business. Now, I'm going to talk about it later, but for those of you who don't know, I run a friend of mine's business, Natalie. She is a painter. You can't see any of her work on the wall behind me because the one that should be there is in the middle and it's missing because I had to take it down for something. I haven't put it back up. But Natalie paints Australian wildlife. Her work is similar to the other two you can see on the wall. But we've grown her business to a six-figure business in the first 3 years. And this year, the goal is for $250K. So $250,000 in online sales. That excludes prints. Excludes originals. It's just prints and cards and calendars. Okay, we'll talk about that in a bit detail. I'm just going to give a shout out to Fred. Fred, my assistant, he's in Hoi An in Vietnam, my favorite place in Vietnam, and his favorite place too. Thanks for joining us, Fred. So good to see you, mate. Okay, and then the last thing is mindset and success, and I think mindset does play a huge part in this. And I know for me, my first 3 years in business, in the art business, were probably the toughest 3 years of my life. I had very little money coming in. I was spending a lot of money. And, looking back on it now, I was absolutely investing in my business and investing in my future. But it did feel like that I was spending money for no return. Okay. And what I want to do is talk through that a little bit. So that's where we're going to go. And let's just see how it goes today. I'm happy to answer any questions along the way. And, this really is about getting your head and your heart in the right place to have a successful year. And that's what I want to focus on. Okay, so number one, and I'm sure you've heard me talk about this before, is focus on the people, not the numbers, okay? The people are the thing that are going to make you have a successful business. So your fans, your customers, your existing customers, the people who are already on your email list, the people who follow you on Facebook or Instagram or any other social, they are the people you need to focus on. Okay, don't worry about the numbers so much as focusing on the people. When you see that people are engaging, people are having conversations with you, people are asking questions, you know that things are working. So if you're not getting questions, if you're not getting people engaging with you, then maybe you need to stop and have a look at what you're doing and see whether you're on the right page for you and your fan base. And I had this conversation with a client only a couple of days ago, and when I looked at the emails they've been sending recently, they were quite detailed, which was great, but to me they were a bit detailed, a bit too detailed, and there was a lot of information and a lot of things going on in an email. For those of you who see my emails for Natalie's business, and if you don't see them, let me just type in the link now so you can visit the website and sign up for the email list, because I think it's worthwhile. I think it's great to sign up for a few different artists' emails. This is the website, Natalie Parker Prince. Sign up if you are not already a subscriber and see the emails that we send out each week. Each week, where I write the emails. So Natalie's not writing the emails, and they're deliberately from me because I run the business on her behalf, and I provide a buffer for Natalie so she can just focus purely on her art. And I know that there are some people here, and there's at least 2 people in the group today who manage the business on behalf of their partner, right? So you can still do this thing. Natalie is my business partner. She's not my partner. We both have our own separate partners, and we run the business together. But at the end of the day, we're on the same page. We talk regularly, 2, 3, 4 times a week. But I run that business completely on her behalf. And I just, it is possible to do this. And, I'm not the artist, but we're still able to do what we're on track to do. Going on the figures today, we're on track to do somewhere between 250 and 300. I was hoping for somewhere between 200 and 250, but right now we're tracking for somewhere between 250 and $300,000 in online sales this year, and that excludes originals. So focusing on the people does matter. Building relationships with your audience is absolutely critical to your success. And, I know I've said it a million times, and I will continue to say it: relationships, relationships, relationships. It's the only thing that matters when it comes to selling your art, or it's the key thing that matters when it comes to selling your art. If you're not building relationships with your fans, with your followers and your existing customers, then you're not going to grow your business. Okay, now avoid distractions. Now, distractions come in so many forms, it's not funny. And I was having a conversation with a new artist this morning on small wins. And again, it was a distraction. He was worried about one little tiny thing that he thought was wrecking his whole website. And honestly, having the experience that I have and having done multiple 6 figures on art storefronts, what I can tell you is that 99% of the problems that people perceive as problems aren't problems. Okay? Don't get too hung up on something that really bugs you, but really probably doesn't make any difference to your business. Okay? Right? Don't get distracted by the little tiny things, the shiny things, the things that people find really, really annoying, but get so distracted by them, they'll spend a day or a week on it instead of just spending the time writing a great email or doing some great Facebook posts. Okay? Now, the other thing which I think is really, really important is avoiding things that drag you down. If you go into a Facebook group, and it doesn't matter what Facebook group it is, and all you see is stuff that brings your mindset down, makes you feel bad about yourself, makes you feel bad about your art, then my suggestion is simple: just leave that Facebook group, right? Don't engage with it at all. I struggle with a lot of Facebook groups because people continuously ask the same questions day in, day out. Day in, day out, and they get distracted by the things that don't matter, right? Because they're being dragged down. Okay. Hammer's asked a question. Email link in the news on the website. Scroll to right to the bottom, that Hammer, or just search for newsletter. You should have the pop-up come up anyway. But anyhow, signing up for the email list, I'm not going to get distracted by that in the moment. Let's keep moving. So avoid the things that drag you down. If something makes you feel bad, then avoid it. Okay, because what you want to do is set your mind so that you're focusing on the good things that are going on, right? And art storefronts. Those of you that are on art storefronts, the Facebook group is called Small Wins, and they encourage you to celebrate the small wins, and you should celebrate the small wins. It doesn't matter whether the small win is, hey, you've just got to 500 followers on Facebook, or someone's just spent $20 buying a mug, right? Celebrate those little wins, because often they're the things that you need to hold onto, especially at the beginning. Okay, so celebrate all of the little milestones, celebrate all of those little things. Your first order, your 10th order, your 100th order. We're coming up. We just passed 2,700 orders on our storefronts. So I'm really excited about. We're coming up on the 3,000th order on Art Storefront. So we're going to celebrate that milestone, and we'll have that happen sometime in the next 4 to 6 weeks, which is really, really cool. Okay, so avoid the things that drag you down. If you find a particular Facebook group drives you nuts and drags your mood down, then just walk away from it. Okay, doesn't matter what it is. If you can avoid it, do it. Let's keep moving. So find ways to be inspired in your business, right? Now, I think as artists, often it's really easy to find artistic inspiration, right? For me, as a landscape photographer, the thing that I love the most, and is the thing that resets my mood better than anything else, is to take a few days, just me and my camera, and go somewhere beautiful and stand on the beach or find a waterfall and just enjoy the moment, right? And this time of year for us, it's winter, so it's a bit cold. Sunrises are spectacular in the winter, but they're cold. But in the summer, what I'd love to do is go down and stand on the beach and watch a sunrise with my toes in the sand, take my shoes off with my toes in the sand, and just enjoy the moment. And, the artistic inspiration is often really easy. The business inspiration is often a struggle, right? So what I suggest is you find business owners that you look up to. It doesn't matter whether they're running a restaurant, running a media company, running anything, right? Remember that your art business is a business first. Okay, so the things that you do in your business are often very similar, if not the same, as someone who's running an accounting practice, or someone who's running a marketing firm, or someone who's running a restaurant. Okay, there's obvious differences, of course, but there are still many, many things that you can take away from someone who is a leader in the business industry that they're in, that you can then apply to your business, right? And at the very least, they can help you provide inspiration. Now, one of the guys that I found years ago, and I was very late to the bandwagon, but still many people haven't heard about him these days, is Gary Vaynerchuk. He started as a wine seller. Today, he's he's a global media mogul. He has fingers in so many pies, it's not funny. But what he says, what he clarifies about business, is just so, for me, it is just perfect, because he strips away all of the BS, and he focuses on the stuff that really, really matters. And if you listen to Gary, what he will say is really simple: focus on your people, focus on your people, focus on your people. Right? And it's similar to what I say: focus on relationships, right? When you focus on your people, good things happen. When you don't look after your people, bad things happen, right? And that applies to whether they're your staff, whether they're your customers, whether they're the people around you in your business. Focus on the people. So what I want you to do is find some business leaders out there that you look up to, right? And use them to help inspire you in running your business, okay? Because it's not necessarily about taking inspiration from fellow artists. It's about taking inspiration from business leaders that you like. Linda, the easiest way to find him is just type in Gary V-E-E. Okay, his name is long and hard to spell, but if you just type in Gary V-E-E, you will find Gary V. Okay, so find inspirational people in business that you can look up to who've got nothing to do with what you do in business, right? Because you will be able to steal things from them every single day. I guarantee you that. And at the very least, they're going to help you lift your spirit because you're not being dragged down by negativity. And lifting your spirit really does matter in this game because this is a hard slog. Those first 2, 3, 4 years in the art business when you're trying to sell online are really, really hard. And if you haven't got things to lift you up, then all you're going to do is finding things dragging you down. Okay. Goals. Okay. Now I have walked through this before in the past, but I still think there is value in discussing it again. So, how do you set realistic goals? Okay. So the best way always is not to compete against someone else. Okay, compete against yourself to start with. So start with last year. Let's say you did $1,000 in online sales last year, right? And I know for some of you that's not the case, right? But let's just say you sold $20 last year. Now your first goal for this year is to sell $40. You're going to double your sales. Now, if you get to that $40 in the first month, then double it again. Go for 80, go for 1,000, go for 100, go keep moving, right? What you need to do is set a realistic goal. And I think when you're talking about online sales last year compared to this year, doubling is a good place to start, right? Now, I always would prefer to aim right up here than aim to just here. Let me, get hand the camera just a little bit above. I don't want to go just a little bit above. I want to keep growing, right? So if you did $1,000 in online sales last year, then you want to aim for $2,000. But this is really, really important. Let's just say you hit that $2,000 in mid-June. You're not going to go on a holiday, chill out and relax because you've reached your goal. What you're going to do is go, okay, we did $2,000, let's do 4. Okay, we're going to double it again and you aim to get to $4,000 by the end of 31st December, right? Now, you may not hit that $4,000, but if you only aim for the 2 and you got 2.5, right? Then aiming for 4,000 and getting 3,500, you're $1,000 better off. Okay, now just keep it really, really simple. Double last year's turnover, but then when you look at your results, this is really, really important. Okay, don't look at January compared to December or February compared to January. Look at January 2021 compared to January 2022. February 2021 compared to February 2022, right? That is going to give you a much better indication of how you're going year-on-year results than looking at the last month compared to the previous months, okay? So I'm going to show you that in a second. Now, but this is really, really important, and this is so important for those of you that aren't yet doing very well online, okay? Because online sales initially are really, really hard, right? And if you need to pay the bills, excuse me, I'm just opening my drink. I meant to open it before. If you need to pay the bills with your art, then online sales aren't going to do that for you in the first couple of years, right? I'm just being straight. If you need to pay with the bills with your art, then you need to do the hard yards. You need to go out, you need to do art fairs, you need to do face-to-face stuff, okay? Because face-to-face is so much quicker than online. But face-to-face takes a lot more work and you can only talk to one person at a time. The advantage of online is once you build your email list, build your following, you can be talking to 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 people at a time. Okay, so that's where the scaling comes into online, but it takes longer to do. So if you need to pay the bills right now, then you need to go and do face-to-face stuff. If you want to build a business for now, for 3, 4, 5 years down the track, then you need to focus on the online. You can do both. There's no question, right? But just understand that the immediate income is not going to come from online sales, right? Now, the monitoring on month to month. Now, this is a spreadsheet that I created for me to help monitor the growth of Natalie's business. Okay, these are real figures. Okay, this is not something I've concocted just for today's webinar. These are our actual sales figures for since we began the business in May 2019. Okay, So as you can see, in that first, it was 7 months-ish, we did about $35,000 worth of online sales. Now, we did hit the ground running. Natalie, as an established brand, had not really been selling online before, but had a recognized name. So we were able to hit the ground running, right? Now, this isn't the case for everybody. I do totally get that. But what I want to do is show you how I look at the figures, right? So obviously we didn't have any sales figures for those first 4 months of 2020, but then we can look at May 2019 compared to May 2020. And you can see that was a huge growth. We went from $400 to $3,600, right? But realistic growth in the following months, that's 132% growth, 143%, 500%, 70%. So we actually went down in September. We had an off month. That's okay. Off months are okay. The trick is to not have an off trend, right? And you can see there's been that growth. And so we went from 35,000 to 73,000 in 2020. Awesome. 2021, we had a really good year, right? But as you can see, and this is fairly normal in the art game, the first 4 or 5 months of the year are really slow. Okay. Now, that is something that I wanted to address this year in 2022. And I'll talk about how I address that in a minute. But you can see that our goal was to increase the sales, and we hit the 6 figures in 2021, which is fantastic. But what we had some months we were down, some months we were up. And so what I wanted to do was try and make sure that in 2022, that we continued to grow month on month every month. Okay. And you can see for the beginning of 2022, we've had some really, really strong results. This one's really interesting. So March, even though we were better than March 2021, we still weren't better than March 2020. So there's still an issue in March. What was really exciting for me is that we did a fantastic Mother's Day promotion, right? Now, what was really interesting was I was doing a bit of travel in April, and Mother's Day is the second Sunday in May. With all these shipping issues that we're still facing today, I decided that we wanted to have the Mother's Day sale really, really, really early. Okay, we ran with the Mother's Day sale at the beginning of April. Now, as you can see, that strategy worked, right? We were 5 times the previous year's April sales, right? And there wasn't any bleed into May. You can see May is still 4 times, right? So it didn't affect our May sales at all. But we were 5 times the previous year, and even the April 2020 was a really strong one. We're still 4 times that. So we have done something really cool. So what am I going to do next year? I'm going to make sure I launch that Mother's Day sale really, really early, because that early time gave us a chance to go the sale for a little bit longer, but also gave us a chance to hype it up and to really get people on board with the growth, right? Now, this is exciting. So we launched officially on the 1st of June. Some people managed to, because before I went to bed, I changed the numbers so that people could order during the night. We ended up with a bunch of sales of calendars, because we launched this calendars on the 1st of June. We ended up with a bunch of sales on the 31st of May. Okay, so that increased my May sales. But we're on track already for 150% of last year's sales in June. We're already at 150%. So we're at $12,000 worth of sales at, halfway through the month, right? So we're on track to continue the growth. My goal for this year is $250,000 worth of sales. Looking at these numbers and projecting the growth that we've had for the first 5 months, we're on track to do somewhere between $250,000 and $300,000 worth of online sales this year. All right. But the critical thing for us, and the critical way that I measure the business success, is looking at this number compared to this number. this month compared to the same month of the previous year, right? That tells me whether I'm succeeding or not. The overall number down here doesn't give me that indication, okay? What I want to do is compare my results year on year. So the same month for the same year, the previous year, okay? So that's how I understand how the business is growing. And it's really, really important for me to understand, because it's no point waiting till the end of the year and going, oh, bugger, we missed the goal, right? We want to know on a monthly basis. And in fact, I track these figures on a weekly basis, right? So I know if we're hitting our growth goals, if the things that we're doing right now to grow the business are working or they're not working. And if they're not working, then I stop and I have a look and see what's not working. Okay. But you need to understand your numbers to be able to do that. All of these numbers, now these numbers are slightly different to my Art Storefronts numbers because I run an accounting software. So I take the numbers directly out of my accounting software because it's more accurate. But you can certainly just do these sorts of numbers straight out of Art Storefronts. You get these numbers easily out of Art Storefronts. Your monthly sales, it's really easy to do. Okay. So if you want to track this sort of stuff, it's really simple for you to do. But the key is if you've got this information in front of you, then you can easily set and track realistic goals. But when it comes to these goals, remember, don't just focus on the financial things, right? Because especially when you're new, especially when you're not selling much, if you focus purely on the financial, it's another thing that's going to drag you down. Right? Look at the other things that are still very important KPIs in your business. Is your email list growing? Right? And if it isn't, you need to do something about it. Is your fans on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever it is that you are they growing? Right? And if they're not, you need to do something about that. Are you getting replies to your emails? Right? Initially, you might only get 1 or 2 replies, but are you getting replies to your emails? And do you take the time to give a considered and thoughtful reply to every single email that comes into your inbox? Because those emails are the chance for you to start a conversation. When you start a conversation, good things happen, okay? But you need to start a conversation. All right, so all of these things add up to your success. So it's not just the financial goals that you need to look at, right? If you've got 450 followers on Facebook, then the first goal you're going to have is getting to 500. Then your next goal is going to be 1,000, okay? Set yourself goals for those things as well, okay? Mike, the answer to your question, do we find the growth in sales track with the growth of our email list? Absolutely, okay? Our email list growth has slowed down recently because we're, I don't want to be spending huge money to grow the email list. I'm still spending, somewhere between $300 and $500 a month on email list growth, but I'm investing other money in marketing. So I don't want to put all of my eggs in the email list growth, but absolutely, as we've grown the email list, the business has grown. And you can see from those numbers, right? When we started here, we had 200 people on our email list. Okay, today we're around 17,000. Okay, my next goal is 20, then 25, then 30, 50, 100,000, right? I won't be satisfied until this is $1 million business turning over $1 million a year in art sales. Okay, maybe when we get to $1 million a year, I might be satisfied. Maybe I want to go for 2. Okay, Camilla, the answer to that is we're already doing sales, so we're able to spend money on advertising to convert people into customers. But there's no point doing that unless you're already doing sales, okay? So I'm not going to get distracted by that. For 99% of the people here today, you're not going to spend any money advertising for purchases, because if you've got 0 purchases coming through your website, then there's no point, okay? Game plan. Now, we use a really, really, really simple game plan in our 6-figure business. And it's exactly the same game plan that we recommend to our lead generation clients. It is so simple. And it's so important to how we grow our business, okay? Let's just keep it simple. Number 1, we post daily on Facebook. Now, this is the absolute minimum. If you've got time to do TikTok, Insta, whatever else that you want to do, that's cool. Do them. But you must do Facebook. And why do I say that? Because the customers are on Facebook. I don't care about followers. I don't care about views. I don't care about people liking my stuff. It's nice and it helps. But the stuff that matters to me is these numbers, right? Sales. So if the work that I'm doing doesn't affect my sales, then I'm not interested in doing it. And I can honestly tell you that for 99% of the people that we have worked with and that we do work with, Instagram, TikTok aren't necessarily bringing dollars into your bank account. Facebook does. Okay? So if you've got time to do the other stuff, do it. I'm not saying don't do it. But if you've got limited time and you can only do one platform on social media, do Facebook, because that's where the dollars are. Okay? Dollars is what I care about. I don't care about views, likes, or followers. Okay? Number 2, you must send an email to your list at the very least every second week. Okay? Every second week. Tell people about what you're doing in the studio, in however you create. Tell people stories about it. Show people what you do. Use time-lapse videos, do progress shots, do whatever it is that you can do to help your audience understand your art and you a little bit better. Everything you can do to help people get to know you, to fall in love with you and your art, is going to make it easier for you to sell stuff. But do not be the used car salesman in your emails. Right? I see too many artists that are trying to be the used car salesman, or we used to have them, and I know that you have them in America, the late night shopping channel. You buy this, you get a free set of Seiko knives. You get this, you get all these free different things. But wait, there's more. But wait, there's more. Wait, there's more. Artists doing that in emails just feels icky. Don't do it. Just be yourself. Tell them a story about an artwork that you're creating or that you have created in the past and show them. All right? Keep it really simple. Don't overthink it. Don't make it overcomplicated. 3 or 4 paragraphs at the most for most emails. That's all people want to read. They want a quick and easy, interesting email that they can digest and go, oh man, that's really cool. If they want, then make sure that every image includes a link so that they can go and visit your website, but don't try and sell them stuff. The biggest lesson I learned in selling art is to stop trying to sell. Don't try and sell to people, tell them stories instead. Okay, it makes a huge difference. Okay, number 3, we only hold 3 or 4 sales a year. Right, so 3 or 4 discount periods a year, that's it. Mother's Day is one of them. You can sort the sales of the Mother's Day, $16,000, right? We do Black Friday as well, and then we'll generally do something in August, around August, just to get people buying, get people interested, okay? But 3 or 4 sales a year maximum, right? We do not do monthly discounts because we don't think it's a good long-term strategy, right? We want to increase our profit, not decrease our profit. Now, number 4, and this is the most important thing, and I know you have heard me say this 100 times, and you will hear me say it another 100 times, if not 1,000 times. Focus on relationships. Relationships sell more art than any hack, trick, or technique, right? Help your fans, your customers, your people on your email list fall in love with you as well as your art. When they fall in love with you and your art, they will buy stuff. If they're not feeling a connection to you, then they're not going to buy stuff. It's literally that simple. Okay? This is our game plan. This is how we've grown from $408 in their first month to on track to do somewhere between $250,000 and $300,000 this year, right? We focus on relationships. And I'm not even the person, Natalie, I'm not the artist. I'm building the relationships on behalf of Natalie, but we're very clear that I'm running the business on behalf of Natalie. And people get introduced to me very quickly because we want them to understand that that's how our business works, okay? But you, as an artist, can just do those things. So I'm just going to jump off to questions because there's been a bunch of questions while I've been focusing on this, and I just wanted to address them. So our email list is over 16,000. It's nearly 17,000, Camilla. I don't follow back anybody, Ruthie. I'm not interested. Right. What I do is engage with people. I don't follow back anybody, and I certainly don't DM anybody who follows me. I think that's creepy. Okay. What is the best way? Do what you feel best, Linda. Right? If you like doing live, then do it. If you like doing reels, do it. Right? I personally, I sit on my phone and I'll scroll through reels. Right? I don't follow very many people that I scroll through reels and see their stuff. Right? But so just do the thing that works for you, right? And don't try and be someone else. Just do what works for you. Yeah, Shamwell, exactly. Carol, don't be the used car salesman. Don't be the late night shopping channel salesperson, right? Just be yourself. The most important thing as an artist is to be genuine and to be yourself. It's really, really, really important because if you're inaccurate if you're insincere in any of your interactions online, people can feel it, people can see it. So try and be yourself as much as you possibly can. In regards to cold ads, do you offer consolation? Are you talking about a discount after if they don't win? No, we don't. Just clarify that for me, please, Mark. We don't offer anybody anything. When we do a monthly giveaway, we run a monthly giveaway every month. At the end of the month, we announce the winner. That person wins the prize, and everybody else, they stay on their email list. They don't get a special offer. Okay. Facebook groups, Linda. Again, you can post in Facebook groups, but if you have time, first on your Facebook business page, and I think this is really critical. Let me just go back to point one, right? I don't care if you've got more friends on your personal page. If you have a Facebook business page, which you should have, and if you don't, you need to create one right now. You need to post first on your Facebook business page. You can then share that post onto your personal page, but don't use your personal page as your business because you can't leverage that audience at all. Right? If we've got 1,000 followers on Facebook, we can advertise to those 1,000 followers. If you've got 5,000 friends on Facebook, we can't advertise to one of them. Okay, so focus on a Facebook business page. If you want to do groups, that's cool, right? But don't be obnoxious. Don't push, and make sure you follow the group rules. I have a Facebook group, and I shared that at the beginning, right? I don't allow people to put promotional posts in the Facebook group. The Facebook group is all about us engaging with issues and things that we deal with growing our business, right? It's not about sharing a post about your latest photograph or your latest artwork. That's not what that Facebook group is about. And I delete those posts every day because people don't listen. I warn them and they don't listen. I've actually just bumped someone out of the group for the first time ever because they don't listen and they're posting in the group every day just promoting, right? It's not what works. And a lot of groups will do that. If you do something that they don't allow, they will just boot you out. They won't even warn you, they'll just boot you out, okay? So, Hammer, regarding emails, want to tell people sending emails on Thomas's behalf, already do. Is that okay, or will people find it weird? No, if you've seen any of my emails and the introductory email that I send out, which someone gets immediately after they sign and says, hey, my name's John. I manage Natalie's business on her behalf. We just wanted to say welcome. And, it goes like that. So we start that conversation the moment someone signs up for your email list. So I don't see that's a problem at all, Emma. And as you can see, we've been able to grow this business with me managing it, me being the person that most people deal with. I provide a filter for Natalie. The only emails that Natalie sees are ones that directly she needs to see because it's related to a commission or something like that. But everything else I manage. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great. Hammer, send me an email and I'll send you some stuff later. I can't do that right now because I can't open that email, that stuff. Okay. Do you post a notice. Yeah, we do. So with the monthly giveaway, we put one Facebook post up. Okay, at the beginning of the month, we do a public Facebook post. Other than that, everything runs as ads, and this is the key. Right, we're not promoting the monthly giveaway to our existing audience. We're only promoting it to new people because we want to grow the existing audience. Okay, so we use the ads and the giveaway to grow our existing audience, and that's the key difference. Thanks, Kyle. Okay. I would write an email about that, Emma. Again, just shoot me an email and we can have this conversation offline because I think your questions are very specific to you and not necessarily going to help everybody else. Okay, I'm going to keep moving. Mindset. Mindset is absolutely critical, right? And the best example of that is, and I've seen people do this and I see people do this every day. If you think you're going to lose, you absolutely will lose, right? And to me, that is absolutely one of the best ways to understand how critical mindset is, right? If you think you're going to win, you will. It may take a lot longer than what you expect, but you will get there. You've got to keep that winning mindset every day. And that's probably the hardest thing. And I was having this conversation with my wife on the weekend. You know, my first 3 years and probably first 4 years in business, she looked at me every day going, how can you keep getting up and every day keep working 8, 10 hours a day and not earn any money? Right. And that was the fact. Right. I had a belief in the fact that I would get there. And I really stuck to that belief. Today, it's the complete opposite, right? My business is helping me support my family and it's helping me do the things that I really want to do in my life. But I had to work really hard to get there. Okay, you can get there, but you need to believe that you're going to succeed. If you believe that you're going to fail, then you absolutely will fail. Okay, mindset is so, so important. If things are dragging you down and putting you into a constant state of a negative mindset, just avoid them full stop, right? Walk away from them. Get them out of your life because that's the only way you're going to succeed. You need to change your mindset. Okay. Determination, focus, and persistence are so, so important in business, right? And I think in the art business, it's even harder, right? Because we can't flip something overnight. We can't make something happen immediately. We've got to invest the time in years, not in days or weeks or months, okay? It takes years to build a really good, successful art business, okay? Nothing's going to happen overnight. You need to be determined, you need to be persistent, and you need to have that focus on a positive mindset from day one and continue to have that focus on a positive mindset. Because if you don't, you will struggle, right? And you're going to struggle anyway. But if you can have a positive outlook, then you will do much better um, than you will if you haven't got a positive outlook, okay? Mike, is the monthly giveaway only to new subscribers each month? Yeah, we're actually targeting people who've never heard of us before every single month, Mike. That's the whole point of the way we run our giveaways. The idea is we want to grow the audience. We don't want to keep hitting the audience that already knows us with the same stuff every month. We have a new giveaway each month and we're targeting a completely new audience every single month. And that's why we use ads to do that, because we can't do that relying on our organic growth or our organic reach that we get on Facebook or any other social. Okay. So that's the end of the critical presentation. If there are any other questions, I'm happy to answer them now. Hema, I think your questions, definitely send me an email and we can tackle those offline. Anybody else has any questions, I'm happy to address them now. Hang on, I've got a private one. Camilla, I will address your message offline as well. So that's the key. Now, I think I just want to run through this one more time, right? Focus on the things that make a difference, right? So those daily Facebook posts, those weekly emails, or at least every second week emails, realistic goals, right? Set your goals for you. You're competing against yourself. You're not competing against me or any other artists that you see on art storefronts or anywhere else. You're competing against yourself. Okay? Only compete against yourself when it comes to setting your goals. Right? The game plan. The game plan is really simple. Daily posts, weekly emails, right? Focus on people. And what was the fourth one? I've forgotten already. Right, and minimizing the sales. We only do 3 to 4 sales a year, right? Don't get focused on having a sale every few weeks, right? Focus on building relationships. Focus on sending great emails that build relationships over time. And when you're not doing sales every couple of weeks, it's really easy to do that. You've got more time. You can continuously tell a story about your work, about what you're doing in your art. And that makes a huge difference. Focus on relationships. Forget the shiny new things. Forget the tips, tricks, hacks, whatever. Focus on the stuff that helps people build a relationship with you, right? That's the stuff that really, really matters. Okay, so I've got a couple of questions and then I'm going to go through to the final bit. So, Lale, when choosing a winner, why choose from the whole group? Why not just from the month entries? The reason is simple. I don't want someone to join my list this month and then unsubscribe because they didn't win, right? So everybody who joins the list is in the draw forever, right? So they might win 6 months later, 12 months later, but the idea is we want them to stay on the email list. So the incentive is you join the email list. While you're on the email list, if you're a subscriber, you could win any month. Okay, that's the reason we do it that way. Okay, thank you, Glenda. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Carol. Okay, so I'm just going to do my sales pitch for those of you who are thinking about working with us. Okay, what we do is really simple, is we take away all of the confusing noise and we help you focus on the thing that matters most, which is growing your email list. Okay, as you've seen, our game plan is really, really simple. We don't want you to necessarily do all of these things that you feel uncomfortable with, right? We want you to do the things we know work. Okay. Now, the reason we know the work is because we've built a 6-figure business ourselves doing these strategies. Okay. This year, we're on track to do somewhere between 250 and 300,000 in online sales by using these exact strategies, by using the same way to grow our email list. Okay. We take the fuss out of building your email list so that you can focus on the people behind the numbers. When you focus on the people and building strong relationships, you will succeed in your art business. So that's all I've got to say. If you're interested in talking to me, I will send you an email in a little while. There'll be a link there and we can have a conversation, one-on-one conversation, 20 minutes or so. I can answer any of your questions about our program. And if you're interested, you can join our program. If you're not interested, that's cool too, right? But these webinars are always free. But the idea is if you want to take your business to the next level and you need some help growing your email list, that's what we do. So thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it, everything. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, thank you for all of the thanks. And yeah, thanks. You're right, Mark. Thanks, Fred. Fred is my assistant and he is really, really good at helping our clients do all of the little things that sometimes they get stuck on, and he's there every day working hard, and I really do appreciate that. So thanks, guys. You have a wonderful day, and I will speak to you again soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.